while the child is growing up, it is said the sanskars are very important. And then that day comes. The day comes where the child must now perform more than a sanskar. Do you know a baby is supposed to shave his or her head at the age of 6 months? You say, Baba, the head too soft yet. Do you know that the hair is supposed to shave? Whatever hair that comes from the baby's head at childbirth, those hair will deem to be unclean for that child. And when the Mundana Sanskar is completed, from that moment when the new hair will start to grow, the wisdom of that child will start growing. That child will start grasping so quickly, so fast. Uncle Billy? It is said the mind, the mental frame, the capabilities, the health of that child will be uplifted at the age of, by the age of 6 months. The head of the child must be shaved off. Sanskars will create so much. It is said while the hair will be shaved off, even as a baby, sometimes they will leave the Churki. What is the Churki? What is the Churki? Like the direct TV. Anyhow, Sankhya TV. Kya baat? We call it the antenna. Do you know what it says? According to Katyayan Smriti, according to Maharishi Ved Vyasji, it is said without the Churki, any individual who's performing the rituals like the Pundits and the Sadhus, it is said if the individual does not have that Churki to allow the access of the heavenly region and allow the chakras to be awakened within the individual, it is said a yajna, charity, penance, fast, everything auspicious becomes inauspicious. Hence, the Churki is very important. It is said the Churki will awaken and tap into. Do you know when the Churki is about to be left? When someone dies, we leave it. Somebody asked me recently, did somebody die? No. But when I was about to become a Pandit and the sanskars of the Vyastilak was about to be given, the head had to be shaved and the Churki had to be there. And my gurus had said, never take it off. On that day, when you're getting that initiation, they will leave the Churki. 5 Guru Pandits will then shower. They will bathe you with dhar, different dhar, invoking energies of the chakras. And while they will do that, the spot in which the Churki is left, that spot or the hair roots, they are connected to the core of the brain that is attached to every part of the body. Hence, when the Churki is left, not only are the chakras open, but it said the mental frame of the mind of that individual starts to be awakened, and no matter what that individual learns, he or she will never forget. Tomorrow, anybody want to get a Churki? We will be here. Ajoke na, ulit come. Ganapati Bappa! It is said the Churki is very important. And while it is very important, it is said to those who will also perform the rituals and to those who will have that Churki, it is called Chutti also in southern India. It is said to those individuals, they will be able to control the desires, control or have self-confidence. They will have increased physical and mental strength. As long as they stand in an area, negative souls, negativities will dispel from that place only because of the awakening. They will have improved eyesight. And one of the most important things, that person will never be lazy. You all see where I get the energy from? That individual will never be lazy, for as the chakras are open at that point and awaken, at the core of the head, the brain starts functioning, it never stops. The child, as Mundana Sanskar is completed, it is said that child now starts to now think so quick. While the sanskar will be completed, not too long after, we will blow the air of the child. Somebody say, Baba, how come you don't wear earring and wear skewed? Jai Narad. This is a lungi, South Indian style. And the earrings are to awaken the chakras of the air. So when the Guru speaks, we will listen. When the Guru, as the mother, the father, the preceptor, when you blow the air of the child from small and you say the mantras and the Guru tells you what mantra to whisper in the child's ear and you blow the shank in the child's ear, you wake up that energy, and while you wake up the energy, from that moment that child will listen. Hence, the sanskars are very important. This child is growing up, my friends. His name is Gana. He is learning to worship Lord Ganesha. But despite worshipping Lord Ganesha, despite being a devotee of Baba Ganapati, at some point, it is said, growing up into the world will get the better of him. And when the world gets the better, when the mind is crowded by Maya, illusion, then we stop thinking. Then we stop understanding what is right and what is wrong. When we allow the Maya and that in the world in which flashes before us to disturb our thoughts, then we forget our purpose, we forget our meaning, and we forget what we must do and what we must not do. Beautifully, we sing tonight. Jai Ganesha Gana Nata Daya Nidhi Sakala Vidhana Kara Dura Hamare Jai Ganesha Gana Nata Daya Nidhi Sakala Vidhana Kara Dura Hamare. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. लंबोदर गज वदन मनोहर कर त्रिशूल परशु वरधारी जय गणेश गण नाथ दयानिधि सकल विधान कर दूरा रिद्धि सिद्धि दो समर दुलारे मूषक वाहन परम सुखारे जय गणेश गण नाथ दयानिधि सकल विधान कर दूरा हमारे. भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं. Through the medium of the sanskars, the child is growing up quiet, calm, composed, shanti bina, as it is said, as a calm and a peaceful devotee. He's growing up to worship Lord Ganesha. But there comes a time in the life of any devotee, any individual, where the world will try pulling our kids away. There comes a time in the life of every devotee and every bhakta where Maya will attract us and we will doubt if there's a God. We will doubt if prayer is important. We will doubt going to the mandirs and going to the yagyas. And while he's now being led in a very left direction, Scripture tells us he's growing up to become a wonderful young man, a wonderful prince. And while he's growing up, one day he sits on his horse and he's heading into the forested region. And while going into the forest, listen. भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं साई भजन बिना. गुरु सेवा बिना निर्वाण नहीं गुरु सेवा बिना गुरु सेवा बिना निर्वाण नहीं साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। जय गणेश गणनाथ दयानिधि, सकल वेदन कर दूर हमारे, सकल वेदन कर दूर हमारे, सकल वेदन कर। गणपति बप्पा! This prince is going into the forest one day. He's riding on his horse, and while he's entering the forest, he's going deeper and deeper to the forested path. When suddenly he sees a little hut, a little kutia, and he decides to go closer. When he reaches closer, he wants to know who is residing there. So he decides now to come off his horse and to walk towards the doorway of that kutia. When he walks towards the doorway, he knocks on that door, and as he knocks, the door opens. And as the door opens, he sees Sage Kapila. A sage by the name of Rishi Kapila. Not this Rishi. Sage Kapila. And as soon as the sage sees this prince, he puts his hands together. As a divine being, he will welcome. As a guest to his home, he will welcome the prince by putting his hands together. And he will say, Jai Shri Ganesh. Hare, andar aaye na. When a guest comes to your home, how do you treat them? I'll wait outside, come in now. Sun hot, rain falling, something happening. I come in now, and you leave them by the roadside. And you may walk to them, and you may walk up to them, and you might talk to them, you might say something. And you have them standing by the road right there. And probably that individual has been walking for so long, probably hungry, probably thirsty, nobody knows. And when you finish talk, well, take care, right? We go see. It says when somebody stands by our gateway and they leave and they are not happy, they take from our home. When someone has come to us and when we stand before them by our gateway and probably they are thirsty or they are hungry, they take from the barakat of the house. That is why according to our culture and our traditions, when someone comes to the home, we welcome them, providing you know them, of course. You don't just see anybody outside, hey, alaikum. Providing we know them, you welcome them inside. Do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? You don't know how long or how far they've been traveling from. And when you welcome them, you make them comfortable and then you speak. The Guru, Sage Kapila, this is what he does. Andar aaye comes, he takes a seat. When he takes a seat, the Guru had one laddu that he had offered to Lord Ganesha. So he brought the laddu and he says, Are, this is an offering of Lord Ganesha. He brings some water and he gives the king to partake, to drink. And when the king drinks that water, something is shining in his eye. Something is shining from a distance. It was a hot day. The sun is shining through the little windows that the Guru had. But while the sun is shining on the inside, something catches the eye. And when the prince, he looks in the direction, he sees a little rock like a gemstone. That rock is placed on a table. And as the sun shines on that rock, the rock is then shining so powerfully. It catches his eyes, and the moment it catches his eyes, he gets up and he says, Are Guru, what is that over there? Can I see it? The Guru says, that is one of my most powerful blessings from Lord Indra. You see, as a Guru, many people come to my home sometimes for blessing, and when people come, I can't feed them. I don't have enough food to feed everybody. I am just a sage. I don't work and I don't do farming and I can't feed everybody who comes. So when I spoke to Lord Indra, he manifested this rock. And wherever I take this rock, that place will always have food and wealth. So I can accommodate anyone. I just need to hold that rock and pray and speak. And as soon as I may put that rock in a pot, it will be filled with food. The prince walked up and he saw. And when he saw the rock, he picked it up. And when he felt it, You see, Maya in the world is something that breaks a home, breaks relationships, breaks friendship, breaks every single thing. You see, Maya, when we run after the shiny things of the world, we end up in problems. Not realizing that we have come in the world with nothing and we will leave with nothing. We have come and we fight everybody for everything else. And yet we will end up with nothing. As I always mention, why do we have to fight for land and property and wealth and jewelry and bearer and gold chain and gold teeth? Why fight? What will you take with you? Nothing. We take nothing with us, but yet we fight. Maya, that elusive power, will dazzle before us, and anything dazzle will catch our eye. But remember, whatever catches the eye will only take us deeper into the depths of this physical sansar. That is why there are people who will uplift us. That is why there are the great saints and the sadhus and the maharishis that will help us uplift ourselves. That is why the tune says, Samsara Sarada Lidhaloka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda Bole Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Mera Deepak Juga Juga Jale Juga Juga Prakash Pahilaye Ganapati Bappa. Don't run after the materialistic things of the world, my friends. For yoga after yoga, age after age, kalpa after kalpa, time after time, we end up in this world because we are running after the petty things of the world, and Bhagavan will send us to learn our message. And even then, we will never learn it. Take this moment tonight and start with detachment. Gajanana Swami ki! Mera deepak juga juga jale Juga juga prakash pahilaye Mera deepak juga juga jale Juga juga prakash pahilaye Everybody bole Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha इतना मांगो भगवाना आये अधेय तुम्हाना इतना मांगो भगवाना आयना ने या तुम्हाना ये ज्योति न भजन पाए युग जुग प्रकाश फैलाए मेरा दीपक जुग जुग जले युग युग प्रकाश फैलाए मेरे नीनों का ये तारा मेरा जीवन का उजियारा मेरा नीनों का ये तारा मेरा जीवन का उजियारा मुख कमल को मुस्काए जुग जुग जले युग युग प्रकाश फैलाई। मधुर सलोना मेरा जाए खिलौना। मेरे मेरा मधुर सलोना मेरा जाए खिलौना। तुम दीन बंधु कहलाए जुग जुग प्रकाश। मेरा दीपक जुग जुग जले जुग जुग प्रकाश कहलाई। जुग जुग प्रकाश कहलाई। जुग जुग प्रकाश। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की गणपति बप्पा। Tonight, my dear friends, it is said, while Ganesh sees this gem, Maya takes over his mind. Greed, lust. It is said jealousy at that point wants him to keep that stone, keep that gem that he sees. Everything that we see in the world, we always want it. And we will get it. And the more we have is the more we? The more we have is the more we? True? The more we have is the more we want. While he sees that gem, he holds on to it. Can I see it, please, Gurudev? And when he holds it in his hand, he says, I like the feeling of this. I'm not going to give it back to you. The sage, at that point, he looks, a little bit of fear starts to grow in his heart. Sometimes when we have everything, we mistreat what we have. Sometimes when we have everything, we don't know how to work around the things of the world. And then when we take for granted what we have, then one day we'll lose everything. Losing everything, we end up with nothing. He holds on to the gem and he says, Gurudev, I'm going to keep this gem. Gurudev says, no. I was given that gift from Lord Indra. Nobody can take it. He says, well, try then, because I am a prince. And if you know the law of the land, you won't try anything smart. Gurudev puts his hands together. Can't you realize that this gem has come to my home for a purpose? Can't you realize that the gem has come here because as a guru, I will know how to keep and to upkeep it? The prince holds on to it. He turns around and he walks out of the kutia. He sits on his horse and he rides away. And while he's riding, it is said the sage does not know what to do. And being fearful at that time as to what might take place with that gem, he goes to his prayer room and he starts to pray. In a time of difficulty, he sits down and he's praying. When our minds are troubled, sit and pray. When there are difficult times, sit and pray. Don't lose your faith. Don't lose your confidence. Pray, my friends. Sukha karta dukha harta mera Ganapati Bappa Moria. Ganapati Bappa! बोलिए सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ। सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। सुख करता दुख हरता मेरा गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ मंगल मूर्ति आओ। आओ प्रभु मेरे आओ, मंगल मूर्ति आओ। The Guru, my dear friends, he sits and he starts to pray. He prays from morning till afternoon. Night has come and he sits there and he says, Baba Ganapati, you know the situation. Lord Ganesha, please fix this problem of my life. Because if that goes into the bad or the wrong hands, then no one knows what can take place. And while he prays to Lord Ganesha, night is about to fall. He sits there and he holds on to the murti of Baba Ganapati. And he's chanting for the Lord. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Bappa. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Bappa. Hari boliye, Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Ganapati Bappa. It is said as night is falling, the prince, he goes to sleep. And while he's sleeping, he starts to dream Lord Ganesha walking around him. In that dream, Baba Ganapati starts to walk around him, and then Lord Ganesha stands by his head. And Lord Ganesha says, he says, great soul, as I stand before you, today I've come to tell you that what you're doing in this world is wrong. Please return that gemstone, because if you don't, there will be consequences. Hearing Lord Ganesh Baba speaking in this way, it is said he jumped up in the middle of the night and fear started to grow in his heart. But despite fear started to grow, as the saying goes, sometimes we are wrong and we want to play strong. He stands up and he tries to shake himself off, and he says that no Lord Ganesha will bring fear in his heart. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Bappa Moria. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Ganapati Bappa. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Shri Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashta Vinayaka Namo Ganapati. Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa Moria, Ganapati Bappa. When the king or when the prince woke up at the middle of the night and he remembered Lord Ganesha giving him a warning, he told himself, I will not take that. That is a dream. Let me be strong. Probably it's only a dream. Allow it to just be. Do we have dreams of God giving us signs sometimes? And when we do we listen? Not all the time. And when we don't listen, as they say, when you can't listen, kya baat, then you will feel. He gets up and he sits on his bed and his head bends. I'm not going to listen. I have this gem, nobody else has it, I'm strong. But he decides to do something about it. The next morning, he sits on his horse and he calls an army of soldiers. And he decided to go to the place of this Rishi, Kapila. And while they've decided to go there, They're now going on their horses and their chariots and they're going to prepare to wage a war. Because they want to tell Sage Kapila, he wants to allow him to know that I got a dream about Lord Ganesha. If you're praying, if you're doing something about it, then forget about it. Today, if you stand up for me, I will destroy you. Do you know how many people in the world live in fear? Thinking that if we were to stand up, it will become our end. It is said as they are about to approach that kutia of the sage sees an army coming towards him, and he puts his hands together and he starts to call upon the Lord. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakajishu Sarvadam Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And it is said while the Guru puts his hands together, he closes his eyes. And while this prince has an army in front of the kutia of the sage, as they were about to enter that area, the prince sees thousands of Lord Ganeshas standing around the kutia. Thousands of Lord Ganeshas are protecting the entire kutia. And while the prince thinks in his mind it may be an illusion, he decides to walk forward. And as he walks up to Lord Ganesha, listen tonight. Ganapati Bappa! Shri Mahaganapati Shiva Kumar Ganapati Shri Mahaganapati Shiva Kumar Ganapati Shakti Rupa Ganapati Sadananda Ganapati Shakti Rupa Ganapati Sadananda Ganapati. Ganapati Shiv Kumar Ganapati Shri Mahaganapati Shiv Kumar Ganapati Shakti Rupa Ganapati Sadananda Ganapati Shakti Rupa Ganapati Sadananda Ganapati Ekadanta Ganapati He Ramba Ganapati Ekadanta Ganapati He Ramba Ganapati Lambodara Ganapati Lalita Guna Ganapati Lambodara Ganapati Lalita Guna Ganapati. Narad Ganapati Vigna Mula Ganapati Narad Ganapati Vigna Mula Ganapati Vidyadhar Ganapati Vijay Nila Ganapati Vidyadhar Ganapati Vijay Nila Ganapati Karunakara Ganapati Gauri Suta Ganapati Karunakara Ganapati Gauri Suta Ganapati Pranavarupa Ganapati Paramashanta Ganapati Pranavarupa Ganapati Paramashanta Ganapati. It is said the prince walks up to Lord Ganesha, and as the prince reaches that moment to see Lord Ganesha, my friends, he stands there and with a mighty voice, he says, if you don't turn around at this moment and leave the ashram, if you do not return that gem, then this war will not end very well. It is said the prince turned around for a moment, he walked back to the horse and he picked up the gem that was in a sack on the side of the horse, and he placed it in his pocket. And he then picked up a bow with an arrow. And as he turned around to aim at Lord Ganesha, he is also holding a bow and an arrow. And he says, when you think that you're too smart, remember, as Lord Ganesha, I know your thoughts before you think. As Lord Ganesha holds the arrow mounted onto the bow, he says, I give you one last chance. God will only give us one last chance, my friends. Take the opportunity tonight and embrace it like this. Follow. गणपति शिव मूल गणपति गणपति शिव कुमार गणपति शक्ति रूप गणपति सदानंद गणपति शक्ति रूप गणपति सदानंद गणपति गणपति जय जय गणपति गणपति जय जय गणपति गणपति पालयमान गणपति जय जय गणपति गणपति जय जय गणपति गणपति पालयमान गणपति सुरपति ममपति गजपति गणपति गणपति पालयमान गणपति सुरपति ममपति गजपति गणपति गणपति पालयमान गणपति 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 गणेश भगवान की गणपति बप्पा. It is said Lord Ganesha released that one arrow, and that arrow being released in mid-air, it is said it then hit at the heart of this Prince Gana, and he fell to the ground immediately. And as soon as he fell there, he was about to breathe his last. And seeing Lord Ganesha standing in front of him, he then said his last words, Jai Shri Ganesh. God will only give us a chance one last time. You will not get away all the time. He will only give us one chance. We are here tonight and this is our chance. This is our opportunity. Pray, clap, chant. Look at the beautiful deities seated before us. Look at the beautiful forms of Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesh has proclaimed, Durga Devi Mata has proclaimed to the world, Bhagavan Shankar has told the cosmos that in this time of Ganesh Utsav, to those who will worship the earthen Murti of Lord Ganesha, they have guaranteed us that all our troubles will disappear. Tonight, my friends, is an opportunity. Embrace it and do not waste it. Ganapati Bappa! Ganapati Bappa! Tonight, devotees of God, we conclude our message as we have seen the greatness of Lord Ganesha.